oh, well, you can fantasize. Like, you
Yeah.
want to live that
This is a
lifestyle.
power fantasy in slapping hoes, as they say.
Yeah. Whoop that trick.
Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my bright and yellow co-host, Alexander Volt. Say hello.
Hello. I hate the cramps, but I love Wrestler Bull Mikado and parody shirts.
Well, you got some wins, you got some losses.
Also trying to add some color to my wardrobe. I'm like, I need this shirt.
Sometimes it's hard, but I'm gonna let you in a little secret right now. You're a fair-skinned man. You can wear any color you want. That's
Thank
good
you.
news for you.
Good
This
news
is Every
for me.
Album Ever, the podcast releasing every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That's a new discography per episode. And today we'll be discussing every album by
The Sound.
The Sound. This was requested on Patreon by Mike. Thank you, buddy, for supporting us and letting us do what we do and giving us your hard-earned money so we can blow it on coke and hookers. But
If only.
we're into it at all. We're old men. But Mike had some fucking. He went with the sound.
Mm-hmm.
He also sent like a million other requests. Because if you're on Patreon, if you're pledged to us, you can send us all your requests. We put them in our pool. We pick out your picks whenever we have space in the schedule. But your first pick or your number one pick always gets put on the schedule immediately. All his other picks, I'm like, God damn, I want to do all these. Like fuck. Like one of my dream lists was the list he gave me. So I don't know the sound, but he gave me the sound, and I'm like, all right, we're on good footing.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
I didn't see the rest of his list, but
It's cool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you later because I don't know if I can talk about it right now.
Mike's like, cool name, cool bands.
Hell yeah, cool name. Yeah, and it's also because this whole thing can be interpreted as me just sending in my own request under my own name and then pretending it's not me and then gushing about how cool the list was. I just realized how fucking stupid everything I just said was.
It's a fun conspiracy
Indeed.
to be had.
Before we get into all that, if you want to help us out, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you are a mother-hating piece of shit. You can also tell your friends and spread the word, leave comments, share, subscribe if you want. Appease the almighty, all-consuming, all-knowing algorithm. It's the only way we're gonna do anything ever in the world, and oh my god, everything is gonna die around us. But you can also find a Spotify playlist on The Sound. In the description, we got playlists associated with basically every episode. You can find them all at everyalbumever.com. And let's do a little quick plug out of the way. Just follow me on all social media at Panda Monkey. Follow Alex on Instagram.
At Mother Punch.
And please pre-order my upcoming debut EP, Pander Monkey, by Pander Monkey. You could just pre-save it on Spotify. You can pre-order it on Bandcamp. You got links to all that in the description. For the love of God, please help me out here. If you don't like me talking shit about your music, talk shit about mine. It's all fair. It's all simple. You can just do it if you feel like. Thank you. Very cool. It's out June 28th, and I think it's going to be rad. But that was pretty snappy and speedy.
It was.
Yeah, holy shit.
Efficient.
I feel empty now. Like I fucking missed something.
Did you plug the Patreon?
You're right. I didn't plug the Patreon. That's why. God damn it.
It's just a word that's said too much, so it feels like you did.
We say it too much,
Yeah.
but it's also because we desperately need it.
It's the
Patreon.com.
lifeblood.
Patreon.com/everyalbumever. There you get bonus episodes, super duper early access to the Loose Ends episodes, which we haven't posted at Loose Ends in months. We will soon. For everyone who's not on the Patreon. But they're all on there if you want to hear those at any point. You get 20% off all our merch. You get to see our schedule in advance. You get to vote on polls. At the time of this episode, I believe there should be we closed the last poll. We have a finalized winner. I said this a couple weeks ago. It didn't pull the trigger. We now have a new poll up. 3 completely different and distinct and very interesting bands. And we're going to let our folks vote on that, and it should be fun, and I'm excited, and I'm worried a little bit because my picks tend to never get picked by our fans, which says something.
I don't think either one of us saw MF Doom coming, and you guys pleasantly surprised us.
Indeed. And the next one is not MF Doom, I'll tell you that.
No, I think we kind of saw that coming, maybe, but I don't know.
A little bit. I was still disappointed.
Yeah.
I was still disappointed. Even though I still love the band that got picked. Still love the band that got picked. I just wanted to cover a different one first.
Yes.
So go there and vote on that, and then whatever. If you're tier 2, if you're bigger than Jesus, that means you can actually request artists for us to cover, just like Mike did here, and just like most people, any requests that we have, period. It's because they're on Patreon. It's the only way we can do it. Even those requests are kind of backed up for the next few months. But the important thing is we will do it.
We're whittling it down. I'm sure we'll get backed up again, but the current stack,
we are doing it.
We got a plan and we're executing it.
We have a very thorough schedule, like literally right in front of us right now. It is packed with lots of albums in there.
It is on my mind all the fucking time.
There's no way to forget.
No,
honestly.
No.
Oh God, so much music. But so do that if you want to do that, and please and thank you, and and let's move on. All right, the sound. As big of a post-punk fan that I am, no experience, not even heard of them.
Same.
That's wild.
This going in cold on this one. Kind of an overview on my feelings. I don't love them. I don't hate them.
I like them a lot.
Okay.
Oh fuck! There's things that I'm like, fucking A, that's not great.
Sure.
But the stuff that I like, I love, and the stuff that I just liked at first, I love, and the stuff that here's the thing: if you're looking at all the albums that I like, it is not a large number of albums.
I'm gonna guess 2.
It's about 2. It's about 2 that I fucking love, and the rest either I don't like or I'm like kind of lukewarm on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 3. I'm gonna go ahead and say 3.
Okay.
There's 6 albums that we're covering. 3 of them I'm like, fuck yes, dude, hell yeah. And then out of those 3, one of them like, oh, this is a classic, baby. This is a classic.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Nice.
I don't know if we're gonna agree. I don't know if we're gonna agree on which one is which.
I think we are.
I hope we don't. It'd be so, because it's such a small pool to choose from, and I feel so strongly about this that it would be extra funny if we don't agree.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say we both have same best.
Same best? What about same worst?
That may vary.
It may vary.
That may vary, but I'm going to go we form like Voltron on the best album.
All right. Okay. But anyway, yeah, so the sound from London, I believe.
Specifically South London.
South London. I wish I knew the differences between the directions or parts of London. I don't know shit about.
Well, it's south of.
No, I meant like the culture.
No, I know.
Son of a bitch. Before we get too much into the history, please support our history guy, Tom Osman. He does a lot of work for us and very fast and on very short notice. You can follow him on all social media at Tom Osman Sounds. You can follow his Substack where he writes about music. He's also music journalist at tomosman.substack.com. And he's also a musician and a damn good one. You can check out his most recent debut album, So Much for All in Day's work. Links to all of that stuff in the description. He's a rad dude. But he sends us all this history stuff. So we have a whole bunch of interviews and things to pull from, as well as what Alex has got right in front of him. So South London.
Yes, formed in 1979 from the ashes of a punk band called The Outsiders.
The Outsiders formed in Wimbledon.
Yes, and that's where kind of the main songwriter of the sound, Adrian Borland, came from.
Borland.
Borland, sorry.
Like Al Borland from
Al
Home
Borland.
Improvement?
Yes, that's how I need to remember it.
Yeah, Adrian Borland, he's like the guy. He's the main dude. He's like it seems like retrospectively or retroactively, they make it like he's this mastermind guy of the band, when I think at the time he was the leader, but he was also just a member as well. Like there was a lot of contributions from everyone.
Sure.
But it's just because of I think we should talk about out of the gate, like what happened to this guy, because like it's just so wild and it's so fucking depressing when you look at he's dead, by the way. Look at how he died, and then you look at this whole band in this whole period. It puts this really dark layer over everything. Like learning about what happened while listening to the albums, like it made the albums way heavier and harder to get through, like emotionally.
Yeah, mental illness is a son of a bitch, and and I noticed. I forget exactly who said it, if it was Marshall or someone else, but you kind of have like the Kurt Cobain thing with this band where fans are kind of retroactively trying to make the lyrics about suicide or like a cry for help, and it's not the case.
So here's the thing: he killed himself in 1989 by literally throwing himself in front of a train. After getting off his meds, he was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, which I have a lot of experience with. I have a family member who has schizoaffective disorder, and it is a bitch. Mm-hmm. It is It is. I don't envy the people in his life, and I don't envy him, and because like what they're going through is like it's
exhausting,
bananas. Yeah, but I mean like because it's. I don't know like the super ins and outs of it. It's just a lot of hallucinating and a lot of really unstable behavior and a lot of outbursts and it's a form of schizo. It's literally in the name, and often, at least in you hear a lot of they get this thing. They're on the meds. The meds obviously help, but they stifle creativity, and it makes them a little bit. One level the whole way, and they make them dull, and they don't like it, and like I and they feel fine for so long because of the meds that they like. Oh, I'm gonna get off them. I don't need them. I need my fucking brain back. And then they get off the meds, and then bam, they are in front of a train.
Yeah. I've always found that to be kind of a weak excuse for going off meds. Also, because of it's happened to me where I was younger, where I didn't feel like my Prozac was doing anything. Mm-hmm. Went off the Prozac, realized how angry and depressed I was.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not me.
Yeah.
That is not me. And so, yeah, I could see how like you feel normal. So you don't think you need.
Yeah, but that's the reason.
The meds are making you feel normal.
Yeah. Before we get into like the quotes and all this stuff, members of the band. So like the original lineup is Adrian Borland guitar vocals, Graham Bailey on bass, Michael Dudley on drums, and Bai Marshall on keyboards, saxophone, clarinet. Bai Marshall, she was only on one album. Well, technically 1.5, 2 albums if you count like the posthumous release. Mm-hmm. And she has a lot of really interesting insight, and I ended up like loving her, like loving her perspective on the whole thing, and as well as her additions in the band. Found it to be very interesting for
how short her lifespan was in the band. She had a lot to add.
A lot, and like you touched on a little bit earlier with the lyrics and how, the Kurt Cobain syndrome thing where everyone looks, oh, I hate myself and I want to die. That means he was going to but also everyone feels like that a lot sometimes, and everyone has low points. It doesn't mean everyone is suicidal. And you don't know.
And it's, it's art. It's overtly dramatic at times.
Yeah, the point of it is to be vulnerable.
And that too.
So what Marshall said about that thing was very poignant. She says, quote, I have never analyzed the lyrics in that way. A lot of people now examine his lyrics with a knowledge of what happened to him later. They look for clues of his mental instability and claim that it was all there in his words. Firstly, not all the lyrics were, however, written by Adrian alone. He collaborated initially often with Adrian James. Even in the band, we were not sure sometimes who had written which lyric. Secondly, I think that the reason that the lyrics resonate so much with other people is that they express thoughts and emotions that we all have from time to time, feelings of doubt, fear, powerlessness. If the lyrics only represented the thought process of someone with a schizoid disorder, they wouldn't mean much to other people. Overanalysis can sometimes lead to the wrong conclusions, and I think that is what happened with Adrian's lyrics. Ooh, fucking mic drop.
She nailed it.
Nailed it.
Because, that's another thing. Like, that's the other part of art is connecting with people. And when you feel like you have that connection.
That's one thing that because we all, if you're a listener of the show, you know that I easily dismiss lyrics, even though I know they're important. I'm just so music oriented that I lyrics are very secondary to me. That will change over time. I already feel it in my soul. I know that's going to change. But what I find interesting is that the best lyrics, or from one point of view, the best lyrics are always the ones that they're vague enough so that you can interpret yourself in the situation, but specific enough to feel like a real thing, like a real moment.
We talked about it on a loose ends, and I don't want to like harper on it because it's exhausting. But that's why that 10-minute Taylor Swift song sucks.
That's right. I fucking went ape shit.
I went, and I haven't spoken to you about it, but I went.
You listened to it.
I listened to it because
the Gyllenhaal song. Yeah.
And it's so specific to her.
Yeah.
I don't understand
He has
how
a sister named Maggie.
Yeah, I don't understand how people like that, even in terms of pop music. So yeah, you were right.
In my outlandish rambling.
And then I was like, this is so specific to her. Like,
yeah.
Even as someone who listens to like rap music and you listen to them like bragging about how much money they have, I could get like behind like, oh, well, you can fantasize. Like, you want to live that lifestyle.
It's a power fantasy and slapping hoes, as they say.
Yeah. Whoop that trick.
Clipping it.
Whoop that trick. So yeah, that one, I was just like, it is so specific to her. How does anyone like this song, let alone 10 minutes of it? So,
that's an interesting. I don't know. I'm
going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there.
But yes, that's the whole point though. Like when I look at certain songs that people fucking love, and you look at the lyrics, and then you're like, oh, because this feels like a person. This feels like, oh, I've done this. I've been there. I know exactly. I've been in this situation. That's the brilliance of good lyrics being just vague enough. Oh man, and that's a fucking amazing point that Marshall made. Like, if it was the writings of a person with a schizoid disorder, you wouldn't understand it. You wouldn't relate to it. It wouldn't feel like
you'd be listening to Captain Beefheart.
That man wishes you were schizoid. Oh, I love Beefheart. Go check that episode, by the way. Episode 10, before we had video, but goddamn, was a good episode. But a little bit more about the band. So they started out, they originally, or at least Adrian and I keep saying Adrian Janes is the guy, the other guy that was in the Outsiders. So Adrian Borland, the Outsiders punk band, and I guess I never heard anything by them, obviously, because I didn't even hear the sound. But they self-released a few albums, 2 albums actually, called first one Calling on Youth, which is 1977, and then 1978's Close Up. Apparently on Borland's parents' label, Raw Edge Records, which I imagine is just their parents' money. Or his parents' money,
basement or something.
Yeah, which is super sweet that he had supportive parents like that. I always like those stories because you get countless of like the dad was super conservative and they hated what I was doing, and the mom was religious and didn't like. But every once in a while, like you get like a Slint situation where the parents were like super nice and supportive, and just let them do what they want all the time. Like they seem to enjoy it. Yeah, that's nice. So let's see, By Marshall. What's her full name?
Belinda.
Belinda?
Yes.
Really? I thought it was something like Bethany or something like with a. Maybe it was Belinda. I don't know.
Belinda in my notes. If someone steered me wrong, gonna pay for it. But yeah, the Outsiders, they break up. Marshall was introduced to Adrian at the time. I think when the Outsiders were still together. Yeah. It was from. She was dating at the time Graham Bailey. Yes.
Who would go on to be the bass player for the Sound. And she introduced him because they had like, he was like the only other person who had the same weird taste in music as her, which is at the time Kraftwerk, Stooges, Roxy Music. At
the time, that's fucking weird.
Throwing Kraftwerk into any 3 band list is like, what?
Yeah.
Check out that episode, by the way, and the Stooges. Goddamn, we've covered a lot of bands here. And she would go like to their rehearsals, and then one day Adrian asked her like, "What do you play?" She's like, "Play piano." I was like, "You play anything smaller?" She's like, "Clarinet, saxophone." He's like, "Bring your clarinet." And which I fucking like. We covered Martin DuPont recently, another band with like
clarinet,
just a clarinet thrown into a genre that doesn't have clarinet, and I like it,
and it works.
I've learned that I am a fan of the clarinet. I'll go clarinet over saxophone any fucking day, dude. I don't know why.
It seems a little more diverse. Like a saxophone is
It sounds like a saxophone.
It's either real smooth or it's real abrasive.
Or it's hilarious.
Or funny, yeah.
It could be fucking, it could be it is the funniest sounding instrument, I think, because it is naturally a fart sound. It's a natural fart sound.
Outside of a slide whistle, yeah.
Who has used a slide whistle musically?
Van Halen.
What? Really?
Yeah, they had in Running with the Devil, they used the slide whistle.
I don't remember that. Are you sure it wasn't just David the Audio?
No, I remember it.
That's fucking
all
hilarious.
The time.
That's so good.
Listen
Check
to
out that
that.
episode. Yeah, episode 18. That was way back. So she started just like dicking around. She played a few songs with them live. She wasn't like on a full set or anything, but she would like come in at the last few songs and maybe do like an encore with them. She didn't really consider herself part of the band, but she was definitely, I know, just dicking around a little bit.
Played with them live.
Yeah. So naturally, that after that dissolved, some stuff happened with some side project in between that I think Borland wanted to do called The Crazies. There's stuff about that they can get into, but we're not going to here. But eventually, they meet what's his name, Michael Dudley on drums. Graham Bailey goes to bass, and then we got the sound.
Yes, they would release an EP.
That's right. What that one called? What is
I did not write the name.
Physical World.
Yes, and that would gain the attention of NME.
Enemy, and wait, Enemy. That's a magazine.
Yeah.
Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, they would do a write-up, and then
I didn't know they reviewed that.
Yeah, and then it would also get the attention of the omnipresent John Peel, which back in the day, you're a made man if John Peel plays your music back in the day. So
hell yeah.
And then that would lead to them getting signed with
Kurova,
which is a division of Warner Brothers.
Which, well, we all know how that usually doesn't end well with gigantic labels and independent bands. It's a fucking horror story almost every time, and this is no different. But they also had to. They could have gone with EMI or Kurova, and they went with Kurova because like we know they're part of Warner Brothers, but there were new subsidiaries.
They're saying they're gonna focus
on independent. And boy, did they fucking not! They fucked them so hard out of the gate, so hard.
Yeah,
like, I'm enraged by like what happened immediately.
They were more enamored with Echo and the Bunnymen, which was the only other band at the time on that section of the label. And
I get it, cool band. I mean, people want us to cover them for sure. They're a cool band. I mean, not that it's how brutally like the favoritism was. It's just it's dog shit. So there's a few things that happened this early on that I'll kind of keep recurring later on. One of them was is Mike Dudley and him being a little bit older, which is at the time is a big deal because he was 8 years older than them. This is according to Marshall. She said, I'll just read a quote. Because there was a band conflict over signing to Kurova, and the general consensus was that Mike wanted to be a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
And what she says, I think it's true. We didn't share the same musical taste as Mike Dudley. He was 8 years older than us. When you're in your early 20s and somebody is that kind of age older than you, it can make a huge difference. He was living in a squat while we were all still living at home. He was in a way much more grown up. And he was not from London. He had totally different ambitions as well as totally different taste in music. I think he thought that a lot of the stuff we were doing was too way out. And I can believe that was what he said. So he clearly he was like, listen, man, I don't want to be fucking broke.
Sure.
I'm just like doing all this, listen, I want to fucking, I'm older. Like you get to, you'll get there. You'll understand where I'm coming from when you fucking want to start a family or something.
Yeah.
And that's for this decision, he was right. For this particular signing to this particular label, he was actually right. And even though I don't agree with the rock star ambition type thing. So they recorded basically the equivalent of one album that wasn't released until many years later, which we're going to be covering at the end.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah, we get the first album, and the debut is like, I'm amazed it sounds as good as it does because it's a demo. The first album is a fucking demo.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it. And it's fucking, you want to start it out?
Yeah, let's start this.
So, like I said at the very top, the song has 6 albums total. First one came out in 1980. Last one, 1999, very much posthumously. The last official album, I suppose, like during the lifetime, was 1987.
Yes.
But here we go. This is 1980s Jeopardy. Got a bit of a build up here.
Yep.
Immediate Joy Division vibes. Crank it a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, it's.
I don't know. I forgot. Yeah.
It gets louder. It gets louder.
Yeah.
Interesting sound for the snare on this song.
It's She Lost Control from Joy Division. It's just the turn off the snare.
Oh yeah.
Which is this doesn't sound like Joy Division. It's just that particular thing. Like post punk. This is very clearly post punk.
A little more minimal than Joy Division now.
Joy Division is pretty minimal earlier on, but I would say this is almost more like.
So many feelings.
You'll hear it in a second, but a little bit more rocking.
Yeah,
more on the garage side.
For sure.
Left alone, I'm with the one I most fear.
Also, Adrian's voice struck me pretty immediately when I first heard this.
Of reasoning.
He feels much more like a punk singer than a post-punk kind of guy.
Shake off this skin. Escape myself.
Love that so much.
You think it's gonna peak, and they bring you
bring it right back down.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love this song. Yeah. And those keyboards, that's Bayer on there. Like super just dissonant little notes just thrown in.
Yeah.
They're so subtle. Yet I don't want them to not be there.
Yeah, sometimes a keyboard player, or sometimes even guitar players can do these
overplaying.
Yeah, and then sometimes, it's just like these nice little flourishes are more important than big riffs.
Touches here and there.
I learned to live with what's trapped inside. Escape myself.
So it does pick up. It does get a little bit more heavy duty.
Yes.
Not much more heavy duty, but I fucking love that opener. I think it's gorgeous, and I like this album a whole lot.
I just like it.
I really do. Like at first I was like, this is a cool album. It's not like the most consistent. It does end pretty with a thud. It doesn't have like the strongest closer.
They're really bad at closing albums.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Even with the albums I don't like, I disagree with that.
I think that's a problem in terms of like viewing them as albums. Is I think they're pretty weak at.
Oh, I disagree hard. And I think this is a strong debut, and I think this is a fucking post-punk classic. Not like to the level of like Entertainment by Gang of Four or Unknown Pleasures or something. It's not like, I don't think it's that, but it's super fucking strong. But the reason I'm so angry at this album, as you know, this is a demo that was released on Kurova. What had happened? I'm just gonna read the quote from Marshall because she has so much to fucking offer with like these early albums. She says Jeopardy had actually already been recorded at the time that they signed to Kurova. We had recorded at Elephant Studios with Nick Robbins and taken it originally to Kurova as a demo. The only other act signed to Kurova was Echo and the Bunny Inn when we signed to them. The first thing that happened was that we were each given a copy of Crocodiles, which was about to come out, and we all thought that because that album sounds so lush and full that we were going to be taken to a studio and allowed to re-record Jeopardy. Logical assumption.
Thought, yeah.
So then she goes on. Greg Penny, was answerable to Rob Dickens, who was head of Warner's UK. And he'd just been told that their budget for that accounting period had all been used up. Kurova ended up releasing Jeopardy just as it was. We were really, really upset. We knew that comparisons would be drawn to the Bunnymen, who were the only other act in Kurova, and who had this fantastic album with phenomenal production. There was no budget for the artwork. The sleeve is a Russian film poster that Greg managed to buy for £50 because it had just come off copyright. Spencer Roll, a photographer friend of mine, took the photographs of us for the sleeve. He was an apprentice photographer who I had befriended in my local in Camberwell, and used to photograph food for cookbooks. He was quite happy to do it for free, other than the cost of film. He saw something else for his portfolio. So everything was fucking budget. They had to fucking scrounge and find buddies to do it for no money. They were like, the whole reason to get signed to a label
is to get money,
the funding to make a good album, and they got none of it.
Yeah, I'm not. The main thing that upset me was hearing about them going on tour with Echo and the Bunnymen.
Horrible,
and that this album was well received critically.
People loved it,
but it bombed. But the other issue is when they went on tour in other countries, people who would see the sound and they liked it, they couldn't get the album.
Couldn't get the fucking record.
Basically only available in the UK.
Only available in London. It couldn't get outside of London.
Even worse.
So
yeah,
not only was the thing not funded and the album not funded, there was no distribution. They didn't even make the fucking record. So the people,
they might as well be an independent band.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would say a step worse than that, because the final nail in the coffin, and eventually led to the by being fired from the band, was they go on tour with Echo and the Bunny, like you said, like that's the label promoting them. Mm-hmm. Them promoting them was they forced Echo and the Bunnymen to take them on tour with them, which immediately caused problems because apparently, again, this is a quote according to Marshall. She says, "I got on fine with the Bunnymen personally, but there was a lot of antagonism there because they'd been forced to take us on tour and could have had someone buy onto the tour for about $8,000, which at the time was a lot of money." Kurova, however, decided that because there was no budget to promote us, the easiest thing would be to put the two Kurova bands on the same tour. The Bunnymen were forced to accept us, and some of the guys didn't hit it off. They're fantastic with me, though. Whatever. Shut up. Quit bragging. So the Bunnymen lost a bunch of money taking them on tour, so they're already fucking pissed off. Then they couldn't even sell any records while on the tour. And then at the end of it, it was just a blow up. Everybody hated each other at the end of the tour. Echo and the Bunnymen obviously in the sound didn't get along. All in all, fine mess.
What a mess. But, for demos, these sound pretty good.
They sound really good for a demo.
Even though I don't love it.
I love a lot of this. I don't think it's perfect at all, but I think it's fucking really good.
I think there's some cool things, that little bit of foreshadowing, like Hour of Need, like...
Yep.
Like, hey, they got a dark side to them.
Oh, they do.
And we're going to explore that later.
Yeah, this is an interesting album because you get that dark side. It's where that song is super slow and dark and brooding, and it's like, and even the opener, Can't Escape Myself, which is emotional and it has a lot of dynamics going on in there, and I fucking love Adrian's voice on this album. I think more than any other album, probably. This feels the most like sincere and vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Even though I think he becomes a better singer later on. But then you get the punkier garage stuff like Words Fail Me, which I don't love it. It's not bad. I think the main riff is very cool. I think that's the best part of the song is a very, very unusual, quirky main riff. Mm-hmm. But then you get Heartland, which is, again, it's really strong, really fast, and high energy and hooky. And there's a strong chorus and stuff that feels full and nice.
Helps, yeah. The upbeat stuff like that, and Heyday
is great.
Yeah, really adds some like variety to an album where it does this good balancing act.
The parts, and again, it's not perfect. You don't love it, but the parts where I think it flubs pretty bad, maybe not too bad, but flubs for sure. Missiles is the first one that I'm like, I get I get the intention. I know what it's trying to do. It doesn't do anything for
That
me.
kind of seems like a big song for them.
Big how?
Or like it's probably included on like compilations and stuff, and it comes up later on. Is it Propaganda? Is that the last?
Propaganda is
yeah. So
it's one of their older songs. Yeah. So and it's like it's a bigger epic, more epic kind of song. It's longer. It has a lot more things happening in it. There's definitely some cool parts. It just didn't feel as punchy or as heavy, and the parts that get big don't really feel that big, and it just kind of drags on. And I don't.
Probably a song that would have been helped if they could have re-recorded it.
Perhaps. And I actually do believe that wholeheartedly. But the other stuff the closers, both Unwritten Law and Desire, I don't love either one of those. And it kind of drags the album down at the very end.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you love Resistance.
I love Resistance. It's super fun.
It's circus music.
It's fucking that's ingenious bass lines. What do you mean, Alex?
It's a great song. It's just a great song. Like
I didn't even think circus, but it's just in there. I just love things that happen to feel like that.
Yeah.
And
whenever I write it in my notes, I'm like, that's a Mike song.
Yeah, if it's fucking stupid and kooky.
I mean, no, it is one of the like. It's very unique.
Yeah.
I think it's one of my favorite off the album.
And I also love Night vs. Day too. It's the darkest, most evil thing on the album. Great main guitar line.
Yeah, it's like a kind of a blending of like goth music and psychedelic music, and yeah.
And that's probably that's the post-punk part of this album kind of coming out, because it's still very much a post-punk record, even though it has like some punkiness and some garageness, and it's a little bit more aggressive and demo quality. It's not as morose, is that the right word? As like is what we normally think. But then post-punk is so fucking vast. You get shit like Killing Joke, which can be super dark, but is also sometimes super duper happy. And then Gang of Four, which is way punky, and then Joy Division, which is obviously super duper sad. Mm-hmm. I love this genre, and I think this is a fine entry into that genre. I think it's a strong debut. It's not perfect, but yes. I find myself really like kind of thinking about this album a lot.
These days, if I don't hate it, I'll take it.
And we do listen to a lot of music that we end up hating.
Yes, so not a bad start.
No. But what happened after this? So Marshall's fucking axed. She's kicked out, and that's probably not that cool. Not too cool. There's she has takes on it, and as well as Dudley has takes on it.
Yeah, kind of feeling like Adrian Borland.
Yeah.
Probably, displaying some signs of his
paranoia.
Feeling like, oh, well, she's the only girl in the band. That's all the media is going to focus on.
Well, that is the thing, is that is literally what was happening, though. Like, it wasn't even just his So the paranoia. So what happened was, during like this whole time period, all the press, everyone was actually flocking to her just because she was the sole female member, and because that's a unique thing. It's just a thing that it's just press,
especially at the time. Yeah,
exactly. They're going to flock to the one female member, especially one who isn't the singer. Mm-hmm. She's just a keyboardist, clarinetist, I don't know, saxophonist, whatever. And I guess on the surface, it could seem like he was being a diva queen about it and being jealous, and that sounds like a very Billy Corgan kind of response. I don't know if it was that. I think it was the misrepresentation of what the band is that he didn't like. Like, it's not like this. Like, she's contributing, but she's not like the band. Like, she's not even writing the music. Like, there's other people here.
Yeah, I get that.
And I do appreciate that. But because of that, which I don't agree with, he asked that she doesn't talk. Like, during like, don't say anything. I was like, all right, that's a little bit of an overcorrection, dude. Like she still contributes. She's still a member of the band. Don't fucking like silence her with that's fucking stupid. So there was that contention going on. Mm-hmm. And then the Echo and the Bunnymen tour is the final nail in the coffin. Like, that was that caused all these tensions. And this is what she says on it. She says, quote, "I was fired. Adrian and I had an argument a few days after the Echo and the Bunnymen tour ended." Her and then what else? then she says Adrian is no longer around to answer for himself. What was it? No, that's the end of the quote. Yeah. So the whole chunk that Tom took out, it says she was ostracized from the band for a while, but she remained close friends with both Graham Bailey and Adrian Janes from the Outsiders. Marshall and Adrian also, to a degree, patched their quarrel up, reestablishing a friendship of sorts in the years before his death, which we could talk about later on, how they kind of made up. But Dudley said, Bai wasn't very happy with the direction the music was going. She was moving in a different direction and wanted to make music with an art statement, and which was much more wry and ironic. That was fair enough, but by that time we were already pulling in the U2 direction. It wasn't a completely amicable split, and she was upset about it. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes sometimes. What a matter of fact fucking quote.
Very British.
Very. And looking at that quote, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I would have liked to hear a more like crazy, weird, and strange direction.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
It's not that I don't like the albums that came after, but like I kind of I would like to hear more weirdness. But in any case, they got the Colvin Mayers, aka Max Mayers, I believe. Is that his nickname? I believe.
I don't know his nick. I wrote Colvin Mayers.
Yeah, I think they call him Max. He's from the Cardiacs, by the way. We've got requests to do them in the past, and it's a band that I'm sorry to the person who requested. I forgot who it was. I think they sent me a track, and I listened to the one track. I'm like, holy shit. This is a whole piqued my curiosity. It's just so backed up with a request.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, never heard of them.
The crazy band, and it's a band that comes up a few times in this discography.
Sure.
And I think it's one that we got to kind of fast track on the priority list at some point because they seem important and very good.
By fast track, like 2 to 3 months.
What we do? We can. But yeah, so Colvin or Max, whatever, he joins. I think he was around for a little bit, playing guitar here and there. But they just repurposed him and put him on keyboards full time.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. This is 1981's From the Lion's Mouth.
I was not expecting this at all.
Oh, really? The super synthy, new wavy type stuff?
It kind of reminds me of Amadeus.
All right, fair. That's not. I get it.
Oh man, the guitars.
It's very good.
Yes.
This feels so post-punk, whereas the first album was like, I get it. I get the comparison. This is like, oh yeah. This is super dark.
Yeah, I felt way more engaged with this song than anything on the previous one.
Also, Adrian sounds way more new wavy, way more clean and clear, like a better singer, honestly.
Yeah.
But no more like snarliness and kind of shakiness.
So lush.
It's very good. This is goddamn, very pretty. This is produced by Hugh Jones, who worked with the Teardrop Explodes, Echo and the Bunnyman, The Damned, Bauhaus. Check out. I mean, we did Bauhaus. Check out that episode.
Yes. And then I guess maybe we aren't going to agree, but best personal favorite.
No chance. Fuck no. I'm not surprised, and I am surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised because everyone considers this the best one.
See, I had no idea.
I don't fucking get it. It's fine. I don't even like it nearly as much as the first album.
It was down to two albums for me, this one and some other one.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the day, I just found this one to be more consistent.
I found it to be substantially less consistent. Not that it's not good. I still like it a lot. But comparing what stuck with me, this one just felt, I think maybe more samey the whole way through, which it is, and it's not even a knock on it, the sameness. I
will say the middle of this album does not really thrill me, but
the middle is where I have my problems, and it's I don't dislike anything on this album. Like there's only a few songs in the entire discography that I actually dislike, but stuff like Contact the Fact, it's cool. It's a cool new wave rocker. I don't find it to be that interesting. What it does, I mean, aside from it being super long, it just doesn't suck to me. Like, and that's not enough.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't suck. But that's not enough.
I dig the vibe. I had issues with Skeletons, Judgment, and Possession.
I have problems with Judgment and Possessions. I really like Skeletons. I don't think it's the most interesting song in the world, but those bass lines carry a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Really solid bass lines.
Yeah. The thing you said about it not sucking, not being enough, that's just kind of how I feel about it.
Judgment and Possession are the other two songs that I don't like. Yeah.
But the Fire.
The Fire is, it's and that bass line is very strong.
Yeah. I love that song. This gets me amped. And then New Dark Age.
It's one of their best closers.
Yeah.
Maybe their best closer. Fantastic. Super driving, dark and rad. You gonna pop that song bitch on?
Sure. Fuck it. Let's
Did it take a while to start?
Well, we're gonna find
it. Gonna find it.
Oh no, yeah, you get that like cool
kettle drum sounding thing.
Yeah. That's like continues throughout the song too.
So Hugh did a lot, and it's why this album sounds so moody, full. Dudley said, quote, "I wouldn't say that Hugh was calling the shots from the lion's mouth. He was definitely directing things, though, and getting us to focus on certain strengths and to play on those. It was good to get a good direction. This definitely feels like a direction."
Yes, there's a vision that is being executed here.
Some make a quiet life. Keep this scared old world at bay.
Yeah, this one it does take a while to get going, but goddamn, that build up is
You kind of get that.
Yeah, you kind of get the idea. And
it's a big song. It gets nice and
But yeah, it's just a band. I don't think any album is perfect, so it was between this one and someone else or some other album, and I was just like, this works the best for me.
I don't think they have any perfect albums either, but I don't. So here's the thing: like another classic I mentioned earlier is Entertainment by Gang of Four, which I don't think that's a perfect album either. Like I don't think it's. But the thing is, it still feels super important and amazing to me whenever I hear it. Like it still moves the fuck out of me, and I still like. That's how I feel about this band. Like, I don't mind that it's like not perfect because it just the parts that I love are just, god damn, they kill me. They fucking kill me. That's how I feel about the first album. That's how I feel about another album. Just not this one. Just for some reason, and I don't know why I don't love this album the way everyone else loves this album. I don't know.
I will say when the middle of the album's kind of a slog, it does change my feelings a little bit, but also I don't know. I'll take the bookends of this album, and it's just
that does a lot too.
Yeah, the highs are really high for me, and I could definitely see the argument being made for another album being best, but
and we're teasing the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Teasing the fuck out of it.
But I think that one is just like the lows are really low for me. So
another final thing. is the keyboard sound on here. It's so fucking different than what Bai was doing. Like so different.
And even though she said she did help, do the demos and stuff.
She did a bunch of stuff on the demos. And I think some of the stuff made it on the well, as what she says for the song Sense of Purpose, which I do like the song quite a bit. It's one of my favorites, period, of them. She says that she says, I never got to finish Sense of Purpose, and unfortunately the random noodling stayed in, meandering all over the place, completely lost. So like all the dick, I guess there's dicking around on there, and that she, because I guess most of the time she would just kind of like, she was having trouble with these songs. Everyone finished their stuff, and she was just like, but Mayers came in, and it sounds more like traditional post-punk and goth, and the really bright bing,
for sure,
holding on the one note kind of stuff. It's still cool. I don't mind. It's just a different thing. But Alex's best personal favorite, as well as many other.
I had no idea how these fans feel. This
is one interesting thing that Tom put here in the notes. 2 different enemy reviews. One retrospective, and then one at the time, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious when you look at this stuff, because I think the first one, I hope this is the point he's trying to make. Otherwise, I'm a moron. But it says the first one.
This was like when it was released.
It says right here. It says, I think it's taken from the wiki. It says Enemy compared the album's bleak nature to Joy Division's Closer, despite the sound being posited as a gloomy band. AllMusic wrote. This is from AllMusic. Sorry. AllMusic wrote Snake Charming opener. Winning is like a dash of cold water in the face of all the bands that were wallowing and withering away at the weeping well. Like, first of all, fuck you for writing all those W's, asshole. You're not a fucking poet. You're a goddamn music critic. You suck. Anyway, the sound were not mopes. They had their problems with life, but rather than just vent or escape from them, they confront them and ask questions and attempt to sort it all out.
Yeah, that's a fucking weird thing to write.
Fast forward to 2011. Enemy says the lyrics cut from the same cloth as Joy Division's Closer or the Manic Street Preachers' The Holy Bible are both unsparing and unrelentingly bleak. And in case song titles like Skeletons and New Dark Age didn't provide the tip-off. So it's like, okay, so you see that the guy killed himself. You see that this is a sad thing after the fact. Now these songs are sad.
Yeah.
Where at the time, these were happy songs.
Yeah, before I knew he was dead, I thought these were sad songs.
Before I knew that he was fucking super crazy and suicidal.
Yeah.
So people are full of shit. That's basically the takeaway. Yeah. Don't listen to anybody. Go home.
Go home. You're drunk, all music.
Oh, yeah. But we still got some more. We got a handful more. So if you ready.
I'm ready.
Hell yeah. This is 1982's All Fall Down.
And craft work insanity's going on here.
Yeah, with like the same rhythm of the wall. Right. This is already just what the fuck kind of opener is this? This song made way more sense to me after I read about what had happened during this time period, because this is not the most accessible new wavy.
Also, this feels more like an intro than like a proper set or proper song. Like,
it feels intro like, but it goes on for 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes, and it just kind of wallows in this weird area of like,
I wouldn't listen to it on its own. Like, I need it
to lead into something.
Yeah,
I fucking love it because it's so weird and off. And again, it's hard to put this as again, it shouldn't be like on its own.
Yeah,
it's fucking odd. It's very. This is his most schizo-effective song, I think, in the sound. It's very paranoid. It's very manic.
Don't turn the clock back. Break its hands off.
wild. Yeah. So it gets fucking crazy and angry, and then it just cuts off and it leads into the next track.
Yes. So that song piqued my interest.
Fuck yeah. Best personal favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, 100%.
But the song it leads into.
You don't like it?
No.
I fucking love it. It's part of my mind. I can't believe it. It's so fun. It's so put it on to give people taste, because this is a rare case too, where I love a song and you hate a song.
Yeah.
That's rare. Honestly.
I felt really disappointed with this. This doesn't do anything for me.
It's so accessible. You know what? First listen, I'm like, the bass lines are finally good. The bass lines are finally interesting to me. Because even though I like the first two albums, and I really like the first album, the bass lines always felt lacking. Like, it's kind of like, I know where these are going. This is new wave done right. Love it. Love this song.
I feel like if that's the direction a band is going, I need some like big hooks or something, and it's just...
I love that hook. The hook works for me.
It's just kind of there for me.
It drives me crazy that this isn't heralded as the fucking absolute best. This is so... I love every song on here.
I wouldn't be mad at it, because like I think it's a rough start, but at a certain point I'm like, there are some real good songs.
Amazing songs. And that's just the difference here, because you think it has a rough start. I think it has a fucking amazing start and holds it for an insanely long time. Like the first actual kind of like iffy point is, where is it? Calling the New Tune, what track is that? How late to the album is Calling the New Tune?
That's pretty deep in there.
That's track 7. So, and I don't even dislike the song. I still like the song. It's just not as strong as the first 6, which is incredible.
I disagree. That's one of the songs where I'm like, where I think it's interesting.
Really? That one does it for you?
That one does it for me.
That's great arrangements in it for sure.
Yeah, it's very like mechanical and robot sounding, and like maybe that should have followed All Fall Down.
I love the order of this. I love Party of the Mind, or Party of My Mind, whatever. I'm getting 2 different listings. One says Party of the Mind, one says Party of My Mind. I'm assuming it's My Mind, but so I think this is a fucking post-punk classic. I love this album. I can't believe I never heard it before. I can't believe people don't talk about this more. I think this is absolutely incredible. I'm going to come back to this thing for years. Some of these songs move me in ways that make me feel so shitty in such a good way. Like the way Joy Division does that you want.
Yeah.
Such as fucking Monument, which tears at my soul.
God.
Oh my God, I love that song. Devastating.
I like that one better than Party of the Mind, but I at the end I was just like, I'm still kind of bored.
Oh, I fucking I get chills when those drums come in. I fucking love it.
For a little while, I was like, is this gonna get worse?
You're out of your mind. It's so fucking top heavy. It's so consistent at the gate. You're crazy. Oh my God.
Things I love on here though. Red Paint.
Red Paint is great.
So good. It's just very interesting, and then I love following it up with like Glass and Smoke.
Glass and Smoke is the one that's going to turn people off. That is abrasive on the surface, but it is a great song. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, those 2 songs just feel like companion pieces to me. I'm glad they're like one right after another. I love the B-side. The B-side of this is like where it's at for me.
There's like anyway. So the big takeaway from this album is how this is the craziest album that they have. They've never gone weirder than this. They've never got more experimental or psychedelic than this. And the reason for that is, they had a little bit of a falling out, I believe, with Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And
they wanted them to be more commercial. They fucking recorded it.
As Dudley, the drummer, says, he says, Warner Bros. Wanted us to start writing calculatedly commercial songs. They suggested Duran Duran as a template. Our attitude was to ignore them, basically.
I mean, yeah, he's fucking right. Like, well, something else he says later is like, if you want us to be commercial, why don't you throw money at us?
Yeah, instead of you fucking sandbagging us, essentially.
Yeah.
And so at this point, they were like basically actively doing the opposite. Like, we're going to make these songs fucking weird.
Good for them. Yeah.
And so Dudley says, we fell out with Rob Dickens. We didn't like him. We didn't like the company. We thought they weren't giving us the support that we were due. And that if they really wanted a commercial album, they had got to put plenty of money behind it, which both Jeopardy and From the Lion's Mouth, they hadn't really done.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said. And the whole relationship didn't work well. But they got one of the engineers on this album was Flood, who I've never heard that name before, but Tom decided to send us a little list of everything he's worked on. Good God. Holy shit.
Very, very diverse. And
The Associates, New Order, Ministry, U2, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Nine Inch Nails, Jason Mary Chain, Depeche Mode, PG Harvey, Smashing Pumpkins, Sigur Rós. I mean, good Lord, dude.
Warpaint.
Warpaint.
A newer band I like. That's, I always thought that album that he's credited on working with Warpaint sounds like amazing. I probably listened to it too much. It's kind of like my go-to, like if I have a date in the car or something, like
Really?
I'm like, that album is safe. I don't have to worry about things getting weird. It's a very cool like vibe. It's not like overly dramatic, like Portishead. Nobody loves me. It's true. So I just like, I kind of go to that, and it sounds great, and it's cool to know
This dude had a part of it. I didn't think about that. Like, this is one of the reasons I'm a partial sociopath is like, I like when it comes to music in the car, I only recently I kind of put on something like, okay, they won't be offended by this. I'll never put on anything that's appropriate. I
think about what's playing in my car probably too much,
dude.
Yeah.
The most recent time I was with a friend from out of state who I hadn't met in person before.
Mm-hmm.
It was her and another buddy of ours, and I put on Don Caballero because I love what is it? Is American Life, I believe.
Yeah. Friends, I don't give a shit.
But the thing is, it's a new person who I hadn't met before.
No, I get what you're saying.
So I put that on like, listen, this is pretty drum heavy and they're not going to like it, but it's a relaxing album to me. I think it's pretty, whatever. I don't care. And that was me compromising. But I've done it in the past. I've put on fucking Sunbather with a first date kind of situation and it didn't go over that well.
No, you got to know she's into Sunbather.
I knew she wasn't.
Ahead of time, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a thing to probably keep in mind. Anyway, so back to that's the reason the album is way weirder, way more experimental than any of the other ones. But also the reason I love it isn't just the craziness. It helps. I like the craziness. It keeps it interesting. The writing, I think, is just so much fucking better. Like In Suspense has these heavy ass pianos in there. Fucking awesome. I love it. And then by the time Where the Love Is comes on, I am so sold. I'm so excited that a fucking fifth amazing song in a row has come on. I love it. It's so goddamn good. I love that song.
Damn.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. To me, weak A side, and then I got hyped towards the end, but then also this kind of closes on a whimper to me. I do not care for we
could go far.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
You guys didn't go far enough.
It's so spacey and pretty. There's got the reverse cymbals in there. It's got this hypnotic ass bass line, really ambient guitar. It's very nice. I think it's very nice. I like it a lot.
Yeah. This, after all the weird industrial moody shit before that, I was didn't.
There's one thing I will relent, and it's a thing that I'm saying in almost every episode now. I said it last week. Glass and Smoke. Out of everything I've ever heard in my entire life, it has the quickest and bitchest fade out I have ever heard. I said it a million times. Hate a quick fade out. Quick fade out is super bitch. Way to take away all the impact of your song, then fade it out within 3 seconds. What are you doing? And the fact that the song is 7 minutes and it had so much time to fade out, and then just right at the end, just a quick ass like. It feels so jarring, and I hate that. I do like the song, but hate the way it ends.
Also, I think it's a story of two bands. Well, not like two totally different bands, but they have these like full lush sounds, and then they have like very minimal stuff. And Glass and Smoke to me does both. It goes back and forth between those two things. So that's
yeah. It has a lot of psychedelia in there. It's super the noise. The areas that it gets noisy, it is very noisy, but it's very cool. Very cool song. Yeah, this is honestly becoming one of my favorite post-punk albums ever. The world doesn't agree. Whatever. Fuck it. Just give it a shot, man. God damn it. I think it's great. Ah, man. Oh, dang.
Yeah. I mean, the band's not perfect, and there are the highs are really high for me, but so
the whole album's a high for me, baby.
I think it's worth checking out despite the things I don't like.
Yeah. If you like Party of My Mind, the song that he didn't like, if you like that one, I think you'll like the whole album, because that's like a pretty good, like, almost litmus test of like, all right, well, if that's not going to work, then there's probably a lot of stuff here that I love. That's not like, yeah, it's a good example. If you like that, you might quite enjoy the rest. But now they are, were they on a different label? Yeah. So
yes.
this album was put out by WEA.
I think that's still
it was still Warner, but it wasn't Korova anymore. Yeah. Yep. So now they're on, what the fuck are they on now? They're on definitely not Warner anymore.
You like exploded through that.
Oh yeah, they're on where is it? Right. Heads and Hearts, Static Records. I think it's I think it was their own.
Yeah, because they have a song called Static with a K.
They do. Let's see.
Not much information.
Yeah, very little information. Yeah, so it seems like their own.
Own little thing.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, it's here we go. So this this is the next one. This came out in 1985. This is Heads and Hearts. I was pretty bummed out as soon as he started singing. I hate that vocal line.
I didn't love this opener.
It has good energy. It's a better type of opener than the last album as an opener, but I don't think it's a very good song.
Yeah, but I'm like, hey, they have surprises. I'm not like writing this album off right away.
Yeah. So much more new wave. It feels dissonant, like ugly.
Yeah, like I get what they're going for. If this doesn't feel effective to me.
We could do this one as a listen to right
Takes the best.
Yeah, just let the chorus play. So this is like the catchiest part of the song. This is the best part of the song. It's just saying a lot.
And then I don't even think it's like that catchy.
No, it's not. It's this last part I like. And that's it. All right. We listened to way too much of that fucking song.
Yeah, we did. We listened 2 minutes.
2 minutes. And that's basically the album. Honestly, I don't.
It does. It's one of those albums where it feels like every song is in the same BPM.
Yep. It has a lot of the same. It's a lot of the sameness going on. Dudley fucking hates this album. I don't hate this album. I don't even think it's that bad.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. But then also, we're working with hindsight. I guess he is too. Yeah,
I suppose. Yeah, Dudley said he was asking on why the question was why wasn't it well received, and he says, well, because it was just miserable. I never liked it. It's a very dark album, and it's really Adrian and a Strop being a bit pissed off. Really, there wasn't anything vaguely commercial there. There are aspects to it which musically I find interesting, such as, for instance, yada 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 yada. Sorry. It's not a very good album, really. He says it's not a very. I don't think it's amazing. I think it's okay, and the reason why I give it the okay is because the thing we initially disagreed on, the closers, the final two tracks, I love them. Roll As It Is and Temperature Drop. I think they're both fucking fantastic. I think Roll As It Is fucking rips. I think it's one of their best songs. It's like
interesting.
It's so weird hearing a song that good at the end of an album that's not that great.
I think with that song, I go back to how the album feels like it has one tempo. I think if World As It Is was maybe like in the middle or something.
In the middle, or even as a follow-up. Because it has such fucking snappiness and really great drums
to it. Yeah. There are things I like on here. And one of the guy's name Dudley, one of the things he liked was the saxophone on the album, and I agree. I think
Ian Nelson played saxophone on Whirlpool, Under You, and Love Is Not a Ghost.
Under You, like the flourishes of just the saxophone here and there in the song, like really work for me.
That song.
Kind of like how you were talking about the keyboard playing on
the first one. Yeah. That song. Man, like talk about new wave. That song feels like Peter Gabriel type new wave in that kind of that little pull right there.
I feel like Love Is Not a Ghost is more like Peter Gabriel. That one is just,
it is a good song.
That one's a little too sappy for me.
Oh really? Yeah. I don't mind. I like it. I like it has some really cool unusual progressions and guitar lines in there. Not too bad.
There is some like noise guitar in there too, but it's just overall, real sappy for me.
I don't mind Total Recall either. I like the movie a lot more, but I think it's a lot of melancholy. There's a lot of sappiness on here. They're going to lean in more on the next one, I think, but like a lot of melancholy.
Yeah. Total Recall is a little too samey to Whirlpool.
It's not super impactful or anything. I do like the outro quite a bit. It has like a lot of ambient acoustic guitars and synths floating around. Mining for Heart isn't too bad. I like the arrangements and mood a lot more than
that's my favorite song on the album. Yeah. I really enjoy Mining for Heart.
Temperature Drop just fucking moves me, man. It just makes me feel shit. It just makes me feel shit. Love it. It's like a massive step down from the last one, but goddamn, it still has moments where I'm like, yeah, all right.
Also, the last two albums were kind of like evil and sinister, and you don't get that too much here.
No.
But there is one song that scratches that itch. It's Wildest Dreams.
Wildest Dreams. I found it to be lengthy and boring as shit.
I mean, it is lengthy, but it kind of felt like a holdover from the previous two albums, so it worked for me because
there's only a few moments in this album, the next one, where like, oh, that feels a little bit more like they're kind of the experimental side of them again. Very few though. Mostly it's in, like Dudley said earlier on, the U2 direction, which I'm not a huge fan of that too much, but
neither am I.
Yeah, it's not that like I don't dislike new wave stuff, but it's just I like to feel like I'm not listening to the same song over and over. And you can have the same style with it just feeling different. Like I also said that in the past. When everything is sappy and like in melancholy, like, what do you want? And it's just how many of the variations of the same types of riffs you're going to do.
Unless you're Slayer.
We're full of shit and biased. We just like metal. Why can't we just listen to metal here?
I just think some bands do it better than others.
Yeah.
And Slayer.
Even Slayer though, I mean, like as much as I love the band, we listen to 12 albums, man. A lot of those I feel like the same fucking album. a lot of them feel like the same fucking album. But yeah, definitely a step down. I don't hate it the way the drummer hates it.
Totally.
And like seriously, hearing the way he talks about it, like, holy shit, this must be the worst. But I don't think so. I don't think so.
There's like three songs on here that are cool, and
Yeah.
I dig.
2 songs that I think are some of their best songs.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's better than being a total wash.
Yep. Hell yeah. But we got 2 more albums, 1 more in their lifetime. And here we are. The album before they broke up. The last album before they broke up. This is 1987's Thunder Up. So I don't know if people listening will catch it, but I caught it the first time I put this on. And I thought, this is one of the worst mastering jobs I've ever heard. This sounds way quieter than every other album I own. It sounds shitty, and it feels off. Something's wrong with this, the way this was made.
Yes.
I learned in the notes from Tom, that is exactly what happened. Something was off, and something wrong happened in the making of this record. Also, the song sucks.
It's, I mean, yeah, it doesn't sound like anything else they've done.
Yeah.
It feels like they're going more into the boring route of new wave than the weird, exciting parts.
Yeah, it's very, what's this, outfield, poppy, high voices, bright guitars.
Like it's like a B-side to The Cure or something.
Man, that's an insult to The Cure.
Because they have killer B-sides.
It's better than this.
You get what
I know, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Well, let's say it, everybody.
Worst, least favorite.
Worst, least favorite,
So my prediction was totally flopped.
It was a little bit reversed, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know why I said that. Like, talking about it with you now, this is like so obvious.
It's so obviously the worst. It's so bad. And it's like, there's still stuff on here that I like. And more that I'll get into in a second. But overall, the drop off from this one to the last one is pretty steep, but from this one to any other album, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. This is a weirdly bad record.
I mean, there are things that just sound like outright bad on here. Like some of like I just call any keyboard effect that sounds awful MIDI keyboards.
MIDI or Casio.
Yeah. It's just like, oh man, like prove me wrong. It's just, sounds so bad. Iron Years is the sappiest fucking song.
It is painfully boring.
Yes.
And so a little bit what I was talking about during the song playing, the production here is so dog shit. And it's not like it didn't sound awful. It's not like it was recorded badly or mixed badly. It was the processing afterward made it unpleasant to the what's the word? It was not it's like not appropriate for commercial listening. It's like it didn't go through all like the proper checks. So what happened here? First of all, Dudley's out of his fucking mind because he really likes this album. He really, I guess he likes like his favorite album.
Fucking crazy person.
Insane. But he does agree with the production. So this is his quote. He says, the only thing wrong with the album is the production. Wrong. But also I get it. Unfortunately, Nick Robbins, who produced it, had got a hold of an early digital recording box. For some bizarre reason, he thought that it would be a good idea to transfer all the tape master down onto digital, and that was what it was mastered from. The quality of the reproduction is horrible as a result, but from a musical viewpoint, I think it's some of our best stuff is on it. I'm really pleased with it. First of all, fuck you for that last sentence, but
yeah, even if it sounded amazing, no.
And okay, so let's just break that down for a quick second. Transferring a tape master down to an early 1987 digital form.
Do you think he's probably this like
on all the cocaine? There's no way that was a fucking sober thought.
Probably this like caught up in, ooh, it's new, it's the future.
The fucking, I get the state of the art, like it's cutting edge, it's fucking this new technology, it's good, but almost always it ends up being like some of the stupidest production techniques in sounding records. I mean, I said it countless times, but like the records of the 60s, of the mid to late 60s, are some of the worst sounding stereo production you'll ever hear in the world because they didn't know how to pan things correctly.
Sure.
So, clearly this was a bad move, but it's also a painful move. Certain moments where I forget which song it is. Maybe I could find it really quickly, but there's a song on this record with a lot of feedback and it hurts so badly. I'm listening to this shit in my car where you can kind of crank it with car speakers because you got a big speakers and you get a lot of bass. And I'm not cranking this album and it's still piercing my ears. The fucking feedback on this thing. Like it sounds like dick. It's not good. But now let's talk about the songs.
Yeah. I feel like the only song that could have been saved, like maybe if they did it 2-3 albums ago, is Web of Wicked Ways. But here it's just pedestrian. It's just
pretty and forgettable.
Yeah.
I like the subtlety. I like the percussion in the quieter parts. It doesn't say it for me. And again, I'm going back to my original opening statement. The closers, the final two tracks on you, I like them a lot. No. I like them a lot. I give you Pain. It has the dynamics and build up and subtlety of some of the albums that I do like.
That one, I will say, I Give You Pain does feel a little better.
It's not blind. Unlike the rest, it's not blindly sad or melancholy. It's more experimental. It's more noisy. And I think that's a song that hurts my ears, honestly, but whatever. It reminded me of stuff from All Fall Down. Not nearly as good, but still, it's like, that's something. I appreciate what's happening there. And You've Got Away is the best song on the album. It's beautiful and memorable. I love it. It's the only thing that keeps the album from being abominable to me. That's how much I love that song. It's fucking beautiful. Oh, I love it.
I hate it. This just... Yeah, that's the other one where it's like those MIDI instruments are fucking making this worse than it needs to be.
They do sound stupid. They do sound goofy.
And dated, yeah,
for sure. Oh, dated as fuck. Not good. But goddamn, it's pretty. It's so haunting. I find it to be a very memorable, in terms of the way it's written, very memorable. And it left me like not hating the album after like. I'm like, it ended with something I love. All right. It's still not a good album. It's still very clearly the worst. It sounds like shit, but God damn it. I got to give it up. I love their closers, man, for the most part.
Not for me.
Dang.
Oh, shucks.
But unquestionably the weakest. And I'm also curious, like, he liked Dudley liked this album. What the fuck?
What is wrong with this man?
Well, I mean, that's what Bias said at the very beginning. Like, he didn't have the same taste in music as us.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of surprising he like stayed in the band.
It is very surprising. I imagine it was purely a financial thing and he needed he likes playing drums.
Yeah.
He likes that's not super uncommon too. I mean, obviously it's not uncommon, but like my old drummer, he's like that. Well, in a way like that. He just loves playing drums so much that he plays for bands that he doesn't like. And it's like I feel for the guy because he's like, hey, listen, man, I know, it's okay, make fun of it, talk shit. I get it, I know.
Yeah.
But I
always think of the drummer for Godsmack because he's like a weird punk rock guy. He's played in this weird punk band called Osman, and yeah, he was just like, I was in a fucking studio apartment cutting hair. I have a wife and kid, and I got a call to try out for Godsmack.
Yeah.
And yeah,
there it is.
I'm like, I don't blame you at all, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a random, like, yeah, I don't care for Godsmack, but that drummer, fucking awesome.
Fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Shreds. Yeah. And I don't want to say it's more common with rhythm section people or drummers. It does seem like it though.
It does. I think people kind of view drummers as,
fill in people and
you can rotate them in and out.
Same with bass players. It was because people don't expect them to write unless you're, a prominent member.
Yeah.
Or a Lars Ulrich or whatever. I'm sorry, I couldn't pick a less douchey example, but like, yeah, you don't get a lot of main songwriter drummers, and it's just the way it is, I guess.
Even I'm sorry to keep pulling like random I don't want to say new metal, but like, yeah, even Joey Jordison in Slipknot was like a prominent like songwriter in the band, and even he got replaced.
Oh yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
I mean, he ended up passing away. R.I.P. But he got replaced when he was alive. So, and
I mean, because I think you just have to be like, you have to be multi-instrumentalist, really. Like, you look at Slint, which is obviously one of my favorite bands, but Britt Walford, that's his name, right? Britt Walford.
I don't know.
It's one of my favorite bands in the world. It's one of my favorite musicians in the world. I forget his name because his name sounds like sounds like another famous person's name.
Okay.
Like with almost like the same exact consonants. Like whatever. I'm pretty sure it's Brit, but yeah, he's the main songwriter and he's the drummer. And then you see like, oh yeah, he also plays guitar and stuff, and he also plays guitar on Don Aman, and so it's not like you can write full melodies on drums if you don't play other instruments. It just makes sense.
Questlove never going to be replaced. He's like the band director.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When it's unfortunate because it's so hard to be good at drums, and there is a inherent immense limitation to it in terms of making music.
Sure.
Like you could only do percussion. Like you can't make a melody with it. You can tune it in a certain way that's kind of a melody, but you can't make a song out of it. You can only make.
Greg from Deerhoof said, "Hold my beer."
That man does things very unusually. That's also I'm keep going on tangents, but a hallmark of a great musician is a musician who gets bored quickly of their own shit, and that's you get to Greg Saunier as a perfect example. Who like periodically he'll just change his drum set, he'll just make it a different thing. He'll just remove a bunch of parts of it. Or like, I'm just gonna do this whole album. It's all electronic drums. I'll see what I can do with this.
Yeah.
I'll see. I don't know. I'm just gonna eliminate the bass drum. See what I can do there. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that's their creative musicians. Those are the people I love. Oh man. But anyway, this album is the worst, and
it's all downhill from here. They had to cancel a few shows.
Yeah.
Due to that schizophrenia.
Borland started getting a little rougher, and they kind of look back like oh yeah, that explains a lot of his weirdness in the beginning. Oh, because they didn't talk about it, they didn't know really.
Also, yeah, I don't feel like in the 80s people talk about it the way they do these days.
Yeah, it's way more prominent now to talk about. So what's going on here? It says, over the following years, Borland would suffer manic depressive episodes and from hallucinations and paranoia. There are times in which she would be sectioned, and others in which she would attempt suicide. They broke up around 1988, and he kept making solo albums, but it was a little bit more on the low key side, which is not too surprising. And no more big record label offers, even within the Sound's lifetime. And the beginning, we also mentioned that By Marshall kind of became friends again with Borland later on. She says, she means her and her husband, used to run into him occasionally at gigs. We had such similar tastes that if we went to a gig, then Adrian would be there. We never lost touch completely. When you find yourself fired from a band, as I was, you often not only lose everything creatively, but you also lose all of your friends as well. And that is what happened to me. Fucking so depressing, man.
This is really fucking sad.
And I've also said this at some point, probably. It's a fucking relationship. It's basically a romantic relationship being in a band with someone. The courting stage where you're trying to figure out what they're about. If you're going to have the same goals in life, do you want to have kids? What's going to happen? Yeah. And then you get in the fights, and then sometimes it's a really fucking bitter, passive aggressive thing, and you can't talk or communicate. And then if you split badly, you can't hang out around each other anymore. It's just the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's so weird and gay, but like it just goes to show how much like how complicated and complex relationships are, and how like messy and entangled everything can get. And it can happen with anybody you're just around for a long time, or you have to interact with on that kind of intimate level.
Family, friends.
Oh yeah. So let's see. this is what she said. So she would rent him a lot. She says, also moved to central London. So we weren't really going to the BA anymore. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's a venue. Adrian was always quite embarrassed when he saw me, and the sound was never anything that we discussed. Somehow we knew that it was best not to talk about what he was up to or what I was up to. We talked about other people's music, but not about what we were doing ourselves. And again, so sad and depressing, and also a perfect example of the lack of communication and why she was fired to begin with. Like, that stuff builds up and boils. So regarding the mental health stuff, this is where shit gets fucking dicey, real dicey. And Marshall has a lot to say about this. So here we go. This is a quote. We were by now seeing each other occasionally socially again. The first time that I realized how bad it was when some friends brought him over to where David and I were living. That's her husband. And we were due to go to an art exhibition, and we took him with us. He kept talking out loud as if he was having an internal conversation. We could only hear though what he was replying. He was obsessed with a Francis Bacon painting. We had to keep looking for him as he kept wandering off, and we always found him standing by the same painting. He'd rung me a few times before then. He had been drinking heavily and was often in his room, and he claimed on his second bottle of vodka. At the time, I assumed that a lot of his problems were to do with drinking and nothing more. He'd never been an especially heavy drinker before then, but I can see now that the pressure that he was under with the sound had taken its toll. I can see now with hindsight the problems there were much earlier on. And this is the last thing I'll mention with this little part. Very interesting. She says he was always quite volatile right from the first time that I met him. I think of him now as a victim of rock and roll. People are seeing you as being creative, then they allow you to behave in a way that they wouldn't accept from someone else. And if he'd been working in any other field, then it probably would have been picked up a lot sooner. That's it. That is interesting. Where like you get someone who's a fucking dickhead, but they're super eccentric and creative and really talented, and you see why they're really good at the thing, and you just kind of chalk it up to them being like, all right, it's just a fucking creative weirdo. But maybe they're fucking really fucked up.
Maybe they need help.
We know a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
We know a lot of people like that. Hell, I'm like that, dude. I'm fucking not cool. But not that I'm calling myself brilliant or anything. Just shut up. Listen to my EP. But it is fascinating. So yeah, of course, in April 1999, he fucking threw himself in front of a train at Wimbledon Station. Damn. And that is a hell of a way to go out. Period. Not just by suicide. Like, pretty gnarly, dude. Most people go with pills or a hanging. You went with a train. Jesus, dude. Yikes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's effective, man. It's fucking harsh.
Yeah. Also, before that, in 93, the other keyboard player, Myers, he would pass.
Oh, yeah, Myers. Oh, yeah, he died.
Yeah, in 93 due to AIDS-related conditions.
Oh, that's fucking crazy. I forgot that, like, I mean, he was still around, and not that AIDS ever went away, but what was it? The mid 80s, right? Was when it was like the fucking
it was like this thing going on that like
no one could explain and no one knew what the fuck was happening.
Also, had the stigmatism around it, and people didn't want to talk about it, or like if it was talked about, it was like you were fucking treated like a leper. So
well, and then that led to some funky shit with just the culture of from that point up until like the mid 90s. Any talk of sex was just you're gonna get AIDS, which is just not true. It's just inaccurate. And every Gen Xer grew up thinking they were gonna get AIDS if they ever had sex once. Like, ask any Gen Xer, it's fucking crazy. Like, that's how bad the communication was of the world. I mean, it still is pretty bad, but it wasn't any better back then.
Yeah.
So man, it's fucking crazy. That sucks. Dudley retired from the music industry completely, and he started working, I'm assuming, a job that paid him money, actual money.
I hope so.
Yeah. But we're not done. We're talking like this is over, and this is a long episode, but we got one more because it was
kind of going in the timeline in which the world experienced the sound.
This is technically the band, I guess, considered this their first album, but it wasn't released until shamelessly after the death of Borland. I believe that's the case, right? It was like right after he died.
I believe
It was
so. In April?
Holy shit. Hold on a second. That can't be the same day. The same day?
It
says April 26, 1999.
Oh shit.
And it was released the same
maybe he did
fucking day.
Yeah, maybe he like knew it was coming out and that's why.
So why isn't, hold on, because this is like,
why is no one talking?
No one is saying like, I'm not seeing anything about how this is released on the same day. I gotta go to fucking Adrian's wiki. So holy shit, it was released the same day.
Damn.
That he killed himself.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, on the wikis, it doesn't bring up.
Yeah,
that he did it the day it was released.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything like that.
Yeah, on the thing for the album, it doesn't.
Holy shit,
that's pretty wild.
That is insane. Okay, so it wasn't like a shameless record thing. Like it was coming out, and it seems,
and yeah,
very poetic that he did that.
Yeah, I mean the state he was in. I mean, it's even possible
he was off his meds. Yeah,
yeah, it's even possible he didn't even realize it was the same day, or maybe he was like, "Hey, this is."
I feel like, yeah,
this is the last of me and the sound.
I think that scene, it's a really, we talked all this shit. We talked all this shit about like, overanalyzing the thing, but this is a pretty big coincidence.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. The same day. That's pretty okay. All right. Holy shit. But we're gonna talk about now. This is recorded in 1979. This is 1999's Propaganda. Now this is straight garage rock punk.
Yeah, I had to like
reorientate your brain.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Because I was just listening to them in order, and I was like, "Is this like a throwback album?"
I thought it was like, this can't be a reunion album. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then figuring out that it's unreleased stuff, I'm like, that makes way more sense.
You can really feel the Stooges in this song. A lot of 60s music in this, you feel it.
Yep, love this.
So that's a cool fucking song. I dig this record a lot.
Yeah, it's not, not like anything innovative, but I think because before this was released, there's really only one album that sounds like this. So that way, with the first album in this, you kind of get to stay in this world a little bit more. Yeah,
you get some By Marshalls playing on here. Not a lot, but you hear her here and there, like her saxophones and clarinets, and other interesting stuff, because this is again the same time period as the first album, yet it still feels like a very different type of band. Where that one is like punky, but clearly a post punk band. Mm-hmm. This is like garage rock, like. It's so distinctly it's an interesting and there's overlap. There's three of these songs will end up on the first album, and they feel different here. They're still the same songs, but they feel different. And those songs are Missiles, Night vs. Day, and Words Fail Me.
Yes.
Missiles is the closer on here. I told you I didn't like it on the album. I like it here.
Interesting.
And you said that maybe it could have benefited from better production. Mm-hmm. I think that's entirely the case, because as a closer, the length of the track, the more epicness of it, mm-hmm. And because of the way this is produced, or the way it was recorded, it has more punch to it. It's louder. It's more aggressive. It feels better. I actually don't mind the song here.
Yeah. It does go down easier on here than the other album.
Yeah, it's not just smack in the middle of everything.
And I think I described Night versus Day is more dark and moody on the first album, but here it feels a little more weird, a little more wacky.
Yeah.
So I noticed that difference. But yeah, like you have a song like Deep Breath where it's like there's nothing like crazy about it, but goddamn, is that song fun?
Yeah.
There's some like fun stuff.
It's great.
There.
Yeah, it's again, not much like the rest of it. Nothing revolutionary. It's pretty straightforward, but it's fun. It's fun as shit. And this is one thing that got me a lot and why I love Marshall so much. And I agree with her with pretty much everything. So apparently this is Mike Dudley's favorite album, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, at least it's not the last one. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So Marshall said, there are some nice songs on it, which were later dropped. I love Static, for example. I voted for that one to go on Jeopardy rather than Words Fail Me. I so wholeheartedly agree with that. Static I fucking love Static. I
disagree.
I love it. I think it's so pretty. And I would have, like, Words Fail Me is fine. And it's on here as well. And it's cool. But it does. I think Static would have been a better pick for the album.
I think if you shave a couple minutes off of Static, it's a better.
It's lengthy. It's lengthy, but I still it's one of my favorite songs on here, if not my favorite. Dig it a lot.
Title track
is strong as well.
Strong.
Yep.
And yeah, examples of them using horns once again. And
the clarinets, they're adding, but even though they're not doing anything, they're not doing much, but I like that they're there. They feel good. And not to go back to Static, but I love the sax is in there. I think they sound fucking great. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's like, it's a cool little punky record. It's not reinventing anything. It's not one of the greatest examples of the genre, but it's a fun album.
Fun album. Glad to have it tacked on to the,
It left a better taste in my mouth at the end than the last album did, for sure. God damn.
Although in hindsight, I would have listened to this
first.
Yeah.
This probably would have been a better. I think it's not as good of an album, and it's also like it's rougher and less distinct. Like the first album isn't perfect, but it has a personality to it. Like Adrian's voice on there is really like unique for that whole genre in that time period, and there is variation on the album. This is like, oh, we've heard this. It's not bad, but it's also like, it's nothing we haven't heard. We haven't encountered this before.
I think I'm a sucker for like the story and evolution of it is a
better evolution. It is a more logical evolution. It makes way more sense. I wouldn't recommend new people start here.
That's fair too.
Yeah. But it is still cool regardless. But I think that about does it.
We did it.
I think that about does it. Man.
Way longer than I thought this episode would be, but
all the episodes are long now. Like because of Tom's contributions, all episodes are now an hour and a half minimum, which is even 2 album bands are an hour and a half long episodes. But still, so thank you so much for listening and watching. Yada yada yada. Let's do a little bit of recap. Let's do some recap.
From the Lion's Mouth, best personal favorite. I don't love any of these albums, but that one, those highs are really fucking high. Worst, least favorite, Thunder Up. Sounds bad, songwriting's bad. Perfect recipe for worst, least favorite.
And for me, All Fall Down, best personal favorite. I think it's a classic post-punk record. Everyone got to hear it if you dig this genre at all, even if there is... I mean, from Lion's Mouth too. Listen to that one too, but All Fall Down just fucking has something, man. It fucking has something.
In the scheme of the band, it's an interesting 1-2 punch. I'll say that.
I think it's wonderful. And yeah, Worsey's favorite, Thunder Up. Yeah, good Lord. Don't listen to the drummer. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
More like Thunder Down. I don't know what that means.
Thunder Down Under is more on my speed. But thank you so much for listening and watching. Thank you, Mike, for suggesting this and paying us and fucking hanging out and talking shop and all the requests, really. I mean, these are great requests. I'm glad I know this band now. I didn't think I would know this band ever. I wouldn't have known this band ever. Honestly, I would never have encountered them, even though they're just in the ballpark, which is so fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And thank you everyone else for watching and supporting. If you hung out, like the video. If you like it, please, God, leave a comment. Leave your picks for best and worst if you're a fan of the band. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell a friend if you really, really want to help us. And aside from that, please, check out the Spotify playlist on the sound. We got a link in the description, as well as playlists associated with all the episodes at everyalbumever.com. You can follow me on all social media at PanderMonkey, and you can follow Alex on Instagram
at Mother Puncture.
Don't forget to join our Patreon, so you can just suggest artists for us, just like Mike did. Patreon.com/everyalbumever, as well as the bonus episodes, early access to the Loose Ends episodes, discounts off, merch. Vote on polls to decide who we're going to cover next. You can see our schedule in advance. It's all good stuff. I did my plugs out of order, so I'm all fucked up. EP, please, for the love of Christ, pre-order, pre-save, and check out my debut self-titled EP by PanderMonkey. It's coming out June 28th, which is, I believe, a week from today. If you're watching this the day this is released, which you're probably not, but for those that are, it's a week from today.
Tuesday,
June 28th. Go and check it out, please. There's links in the description. It's a passion project. It's a lot of love and time went into that. And if you hate me, you can talk shit about it, but I won't believe you unless you listen to it. So if you want me to believe your shit talking, give it a goog. So do that. And yeah, don't forget to also, last thing, sorry, plug. People don't like plugs, but you're going to hear them. Tom Osman, our fucking history guy who does all the work for us. Tom Osman Sounds on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think I said twiddle. Also his Substack, tomosman.substack.com for all of his writing and his album. So much for all on day's work, which you could find on Bandcamp, Spotify, all the places. Links to all that in the description as well. Okay. Finally. We are ready to end this massive, and I found it to be a pretty fun episode. Oh, what we hold this at?
That's all on you.
I thought about this.
You should have.
And it's not an Alex favorite. It's not an Alex favorite, but in my heart, I know it's the right choice.
But Mike's life was enriched by the band, where
it was.
I could go either way, so it's only fair.
And it has to be Monument from All Fall Down. So hell yeah. Let's wrap it up. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. See ya.